Hey guys, how you doing? Thank you very much for joining me on another adventure. I really appreciate it. I'm really struggling for words, to be honest. I'm at a place that I've come to a few times before. That's one of the most remarkable places I've ever had the privilege to come to. And yeah, 5 months ago, this area was absolutely devastated by the 2019 and 2020 fires of southeastern Australia. And yeah, it's pretty hard to walk through this country and yeah, not want to cry. It's been completely devastated. I've been wanting to come out here and check on this country ever since the fires happened, and it's taken nearly 5 months for restrictions to ease. Both from the fire damage and because of the COVID-19. So yeah, wow, wow, yeah, I don't know what to say. I knew it was going to be bad, but seeing the horizon, just twigs, yeah. Yeah, it's really quiet. There's no sound. There's no birds. It's eerily quiet. It's not all doom and gloom though. There are some signs of life again, and thankfully a lot of the older, bigger trees are showing signs of coppicing, which is absolutely fantastic. And luckily, since the fires have happened, there's been a reasonable amount of rain, and there's certainly a lot more grass than there used to be here. So yeah, maybe this is what the old country might look like, minus the horrendous fire damage. So the plan for today is to retrace my steps from an early adventure. A few years ago, I came out here and found a secret valley, or explored a secret valley. I probably wasn't the one to find it, but I explored it and had this amazing camp on top of the cliffs. Went down this valley, up the other side, and then had this really beautiful spot perched high above the gorge, and it was phenomenal. And yeah, there's actually a second part to that valley which I'm really keen to go and explore, and I'm hoping that I can find my way up the top of the cliffs a little bit further along and yeah, find a just as amazing spot above the gorge. Yeah, I'm really kind of a little bit nervous. This country is beautiful, and I've really come to love it, even though it can be incredibly difficult. Last time I was here, I got tangled up in vegetation. It was so hard to walk. Now obviously that vegetation's gone and it's a bit different, but the gorge itself is kind of what started my love affair with nature, and well, rekindled my love affair with nature and this kind of adventure. And yeah, I'm kind of holding my breath to see how it's looking after these terrible fires. So yeah, mixed emotions, but great to be outside and certainly looking forward to camping again. So yeah, stick with me guys, should be a good one. If I didn't have a predetermined location, I'd be tempted to think about pitching up in a spot like this. It kind of helps you soak in the enormity of the landscape and what's happened to it. So this is really interesting. In Australia, the landscapes are fire dependent, and so a lot of their species regenerate after fire. I'd only really ever seen gum trees coppicing after a fire. This looks to be some sort of leptospermum, and yeah, I've never seen a shrub respond to fire like this before. It's quite amazing. Yeah, wow. It's kind of really heartening actually. Here's a really good example of the coppicing from a gum tree. You can see that most of the smaller trees looks like they've died, but some of the bigger ones looks like they've been able to withstand the firestorm. And yeah, there's life in this country yet. Last time I was out here I had to walk around this little hill. Now I can just walk straight through it. Oh, I can't get over the silence. I've heard and seen one bird. I've been out here for maybe an hour and a half, and I've seen probably one insect. Yeah, it's really eerie. So you can see right here I'm walking on top of a plateau, or the escarpment, and I'm trying to walk along this gorge, and you can see the gorge just in the background here. So just on the horizon there, that's the gorge, and fairly devastatingly I can see the trees there are burnt too. While I'm walking about 1 kilometre away from it, the reason for that is you can see right here there's a small creek that's forming, and if I was walking right on the cliff line, it would be absolutely impossible to get through those creeks where they enter the gorge. And so walking here, I'm able to pick through the headwaters of these creeks, and that gives me a chance to sort of move through this country pretty quickly. So good. First sign of a wombat in this country, and there's a bird over there not very happy with me, so yeah, there is a little bit of life left, which is so awesome. Oh, this is amazing. The fire has completely transformed the landscape here. Last time I was here it was predominantly sandstone and really thick bands of vegetation, and now there's just so much grass around. It's absolutely incredible. It's 11:30, so I've been walking for 2 hours, and I'm well ahead of where I thought I would be at this stage. I didn't really have breakfast this morning because I got up pretty early to get out here and have the full day, and then find a nice spot to camp tonight. So yeah, just gonna make myself a wrap and then yeah, keep going on. You know, there's both beauty and devastation out here, and it's kind of interesting to see both of those things at the same time. But yeah, it's still been really nice just to put a backpack on and come out walking and get some fresh air, and yeah, see how this place is going. Well, that's a good little lunch. Yeah, I'm getting pretty cold though, so I'm going to keep walking. Yeah, it's been interesting just to sit here and try and take in a bit of the landscape too. And like I said before, there's kind of equal parts of devastation and beauty, and yeah, trying to reconcile those is a challenging thing to think through. What a difference a fire makes. This is the exact spot I filled up water on my last trip out here. I know that because I marked it on my GPS. The creek's flowing a lot more now than it was then. But last time I was here, this was completely impenetrable. I remember climbing up the other side. It was just a nightmare. It was so thick and tangly. And now this is opened right up. Alrighty, I'm making my way down into the last creek that I want to cross today. And yeah, the topography looks pretty significant actually. It's always hard to tell from the maps what the country's going to do, but it looks like it's pretty significant creek line. So I'm just going to walk. I'm going to try and stay high until I can get a better view, just to make sure I don't descend into a spot that's really painful to cross. I don't want to do any climbing today. So you can start to see this is actually a pretty significant feature. I should be able to get through okay, but it does look like it's cliffing here as well. So on the maps it looks like it should be okay here, but I think I'm going to have to walk a little bit further around. Yeah, so you can see this is a much more significant creek than the others I've crossed today. And I'm fairly high up in the catchment already, so look, I can probably find a way down here and then climb up through there, but I think I'm just going to walk around. If you all the way over here, if I walk around it will be a little bit safer because yeah, it's a pretty sizable drop. Pretty impressive landscape though. Alrighty, making my way into the first little side creek in the headwaters. Sorry, the first little, I don't know, tributary of the side creek. Yeah, I'll probably have to do this a few times actually, but it's not too bad. I should be able to get out of there pretty easily. That's the first little bit done. I reckon there might be at least another two. Yep, looks like two more. One up here is pretty straightforward, but the main creek line is after that, so it should be alright though. Yeah, pretty tough country. It's a lot easier now that the vegetation's cleared out, but still a fair bit of up and down. Bonza, this has worked out really well. Right over there, the first glimpse of just the most amazing cliff line you'll be likely to see. I feel like I'm on the home stretch. I've still got a really challenging little walk ahead of me, but yeah, seeing the cliff walls, oh, it's so good to be back. I've done a lot of walking in this area, and yeah, it's a really special place to me. It means a lot, and it's just good to be back. Oh, it's a great place to be. Last time I was here, I camped on, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a rock that kind of sits just above those in the foreground, and there's a little valley in between those rocks and this creek, and then there's another valley of the creek, and then up here. So I camped on those rocks there right on top, and now I'm going to go around that little creek there. Hopefully I can get some water. I can see water on the rocks there, so it looks good. And then I'm going to try and camp on top of those rocks somewhere if I can find a spot. It looks like the fire hasn't burnt all the trees there, so that's pretty awesome. Oh, how good is it? Alrighty, so I've just climbed down into the side creek, and I've just found a nice little pool of water. So I think, although I'm fairly confident there'll be enough standing water on the sandstone, I'm just going to take a few litres on board here. So I don't have far to walk now, so I think that's the safest and most sensible thing to do. Alright, so I think I'm going to take on, I'll have a total capacity of 5 litres of water, I think. It just means I'm going to have a comfortable camp and not have to be conservative. And I can spare a litre on the fire if I need to dampen it down a bit. So this is my Cedar Summit tap pack. Very handy way to carry water. It's got, oh dear, it scrunches down to not much and carries 6 litres, so very handy piece of kit. I've had this for years and love it. Alright, well I've collected some water and the bag's certainly feeling a bit heavy. I've just sort of strapped it on the top in between the main bag and the little top pouch. Kind of running out of space, to be honest. Yep, that makes everything just a little bit harder. So even though the walking's been relatively straightforward today, there's a new challenge I haven't had to contend with before. With these, predominantly the shrubs, when they burn down, a lot of them have left like a 10 or a 20 centimetre stick in the ground, and they're difficult to see. And I've hit that many and nearly tripped over that many. It's getting a bit ridiculous. Starting to feel it now, especially with the extra 3 litres of water in the bag. Getting close. I'm so happy I can see that some of the trees in the gorge have survived. That's amazing. That's really amazing. And I can actually see the other little, so I'm just on the top of this little secret valley, and the other side the trees are still there too. So the problem is it's going to be a pretty tough climb to get there. So I'm going to walk down further that way. Looks like the valley here is quite deep and it might be a little bit easier to get into and out of a little bit further along. So yeah, keep going for a wander. So you can see here I've got a really safe ramp all the way into the gorge. Now there could be a secondary line of cliffs, there often are, but this looks like to be a good way into that little valley. But I do want to walk further along and A, see what the view's like at the other end, and B, if there's a better way, because there's several hundred meters of descending and then again ascending to get through here. So I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit less effort on the other side. Alrighty, I found another ramp in, so that's good. This one looks like it's a little bit gentler to the bottom, but still probably a good solid hour to get down the other side. So yeah, not sure. I'm going to walk to the cliff wall on the other side of this little valley and then see what the view is like from there, have a bite to eat and have some water and make a call. You've always got to think these things through, because that's a pretty significant little valley there to climb in and out of. I can definitely do it, I think, but it's pretty steep on the other side and it's just a lot of effort and energy, and after a big day with a heavy pack, yeah, you gotta know where your limits are. So I'm just gonna wander over, see if I can find a good spot over here with the view, have a little bite to eat, and then who knows, might even find an easy way in and out. Oh, oh man. Oh my goodness, so much of the gorge has survived. I was so worried, I thought the fire had got into the gorge proper and hammered it. Oh, I'm so happy, I'm so happy. Not only am I in an amazing place, the difference between the landscape up on the top here and down there couldn't be more stark. Behind you guys, it is completely hammered. And behind me, it's just amazing. Just amazing. Oh, I'm so glad it survived. Alrighty, I've had a bite to eat and had a quick drink of water, just had a little rest for 20 minutes, and now I think I'm going to have a go at getting across to there. It's just too awesome to be here and not give it a go. If for whatever reason it looks too sketchy, I don't feel safe, I'm going to call it quits and I'm going to camp here because this is an amazing place. This is so awesome. But yeah, it's still early in the day. It's 2:30, so I have 2.5 hours of light left, and I kind of want to give it a go. So yeah. Anyway, let's do it. Okay, this is looking good. It looks really doable here. I'm probably 60 or 70 meters above the valley floor, and it's about the same the other side, so that's pretty good. I just don't have full visibility of the descent here, so I'm on a big rock now. It just looks like there might be a line of cliffs here. So it looks very close to being achievable. I just need to it's easy enough to pop down here. I might have a quick look. That's not going to work. I think I might be able to come from the side in one of those little ramps and then come down here. Yeah, that's going to be safest. Okay, looks like I found a way down. Fingers crossed. Oh, almost there. It's been a challenging little part actually. Okay, I'm down this little valley. Now, it looks like there's a ramp straight there actually. Oh, it's beautiful in here. Absolutely stunning. Oh, all these rock formations are like little pagodas. Oh, wow. Oh, fantastic. Well, yeah, the fire well and truly got into this little valley. Over here, that's the ticket, I think. I was going to walk back up near the edge, but that's doable. Have a look at it. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, made it to the top of the cliffs on the other side of the little valley. Oh, I'm knackered. The sandstone's actually quite broken, so there's not a large flat open area. I'm going to try keep heading towards the gorge wall, and yeah, see if I can't find a spot to camp. Ooh. I think I might be at camp. Oh, wow. Oh, far out. That last little valley's just knocked me knocked me sideways. That was a tough little slog. Oh, but worth it. Well, I've put myself through it today, but wow, it's certainly been worth it. Unbelievable. It's really difficult to try and put a place like this into scale. I'm half a kilometre above the creek below me, and it's just as far as the eye can see. So I'm completely hammered. I've probably got black stuff all over my face. I'm absolutely coated in soot from walking through those burnt trees. I'll have to wash that off in a sec. But for now, I'm just going to take a minute and I'm just going to enjoy this. Oh, alrighty. Well, it's been nice just to take this all in. I think it's time to set the tent up. I've got just over an hour of light left, and I do want to be set up and nice and toasty warm by the fire by the time it gets dark, because it's going to get cold tonight. I don't know what to say about this place. I just have to let it speak for itself. It's just so nice to be here. I couldn't think of a better place to come post isolation and post everything that's happened this year. So it's good to be back. It's really good to be back. It's good to be camping. And my God, it's going to be good to have a beer and a steak by the fire. Let's do it. Well, hello up there. I think this is going to be camp for the night. There's no trees above me. I've got some rocks. Whoops. I've got rocks on 2.5 sides, so I've got a bit of protection from the wind. And probably one of the best views I've ever had from a tent. So, yeah, I think we'll make this one do. So I haven't had a tent camp for a while, so yeah, got the old tent up, and I'm really glad, to be honest, because you could definitely tarp camp up here, but it'd be a lot more work just to make the pitch work out. So freestanding tent, this is going to work out pretty nicely. I think I'm going to have my door there so I can just stare at the view. I think that's actually pretty good. I've got my latest addition for this tent. I've got a gear loft. So this should clip inside and just give you a little bit of extra storage in the tent. Now, because I don't have much soil to work with here, I'm actually just going to put my pegs in and then get a bit of tension and then use rocks to basically hold the peg in place. Now I need to figure out where I'm going to have my fire. I don't think I've had a campfire for, geez, 9 months or so. It's been ages. Oh, all right, time to finally build a fire pit. Camp's all set up, but I'm kind of losing light fast, so yeah, just going to go collect a few rocks, and what I want to do is just build a bit of a windbreak. So I've got this little patch of sandstone here. I've scraped out just a little bit of the sand, just so it's going to be on the bare sandstone. And then I'll just have a little bit of a wall, a couple of rocks high, just to give a bit of wind protection. So let's do it. Okay, time for a fire, and I'm pretty excited. I haven't been had a fire for what I reckon, 9 or 10 months. So yeah, this is pretty exciting. All right, so I've got here a cotton makeup remover pad, and that's just been dipped in candle wax. Because it's getting dark, I'm just going to use a fire starter. So basically, it's just waxed cotton wool. So now to light it, I've got a Firefly, which is a really cool fire steel that goes in your Swiss Army knife. So I've never used one of these before, so let's see how it goes. It's a little bit awkward, the angle I've got over this wall, but we'll make it work. Actually might use the awl. There we go, it's better. Lovely. Luckily there's a good supply of firewood around. Alright, just going to take the silky F180 and process up this branch here. It is actually getting really quite cold, so I do want a good supply of firewood. I can't begin to describe how good this is, guys. I've got a pseudo-sue pale ale. It's going down a treat. Oh, I've got the fire. It's getting really, really cold. The temperature has dropped away already. Fortunately, it's not very windy, so hopefully that stays and I can get some nice heat from this fire. Should get a little bit of reflection from those rocks. Oh, I am knackered. What a day. What a day. I'm sitting in one of the most amazing campsites I've ever camped. It's truly remarkable, actually. I can just see the shadow of the gorge. I can see the sun just dying down there to the west. Oh, just warming up, rejuvenating by the fire. That's what it's all about. It's so good. And I'm pretty excited to cook a steak on the fire. It's going to be awesome. But what I might start with first is the trusty old rice. So this is the spinach, ricotta and parmesan with a bit of quinoa. I've got a bit of a purple carrot, so I might just do some chunks. I was going to roast it, but I can't actually be bothered, so I'm just going to chuck it in the pot. And I'm just going to chuck some green beans in. Just put that right on the edge there. So I've got a beautiful, beautiful Scotch fillet, and it felt like the only sensible thing to do, but a bit of Montreal steak spice. It's going to be a very generous application. Oh, so good. So time to cook the steak. I'm pretty excited about this. Some of those coals in there. This is just for my grill. Now these are sandstone rocks, so they shouldn't explode. I hope. Oh, voila. Oh yeah. So this has got quite a bit of fat in it. So, well, not fat. It's just marbled. So I really do want to make sure that the meat does cook pretty well. So I know that the steak police will be out in force if it's not medium rare, and that's normally the way I like it. But I'm pretty keen to get a bit of all that fat kind of rendering through the meat. So anyway. It's looking delicious. It smells pretty good too. And I should say too, like these, I've camped here a number of times and have used these rocks in the fire. But if you're unsure, it can be really, really dangerous. So Best to use some damp wood if you can find that instead. Because yeah, exploding rocks, that's not much fun. Get that little bit of a G up. Whoa. Oh, that's gonna be good. Alright, got my rice, got my beer. I probably have cooked this on a little bit too much actually, but that fat should have rendered through nicely. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, we're definitely on medium. Oh my goodness. I'm pretty excited to try this. I've got a Quiet Deeds. It's a hazy IPA. Well, it's a hazy double IPA, so 7.5%. It's called Chit Out of Luck. I reckon I'm chit in luck. Cheers, guys. Oh, that is sensational. Quiet Deeds just make some fantastic beers. So I tell you what, a campfire, a beer and a steak, I'm a happy guy. So I'm in an interesting position. I am normally most of the places I go, there's absolutely no mobile phone reception at all. But because I'm up quite high, I do have a little bit of signal. And so I posted a picture of this campsite on Instagram, and I asked if anyone had any questions to drop a comment below the post, and I'd answer them on the video. Yeah, there's some really good questions here. I've got a bunch of questions, so I might jump straight into them. Tom Brew National Parks, how did you go getting over the fear of getting lost out there? Yeah, that's a good question, Tom. I guess the way I handle that fear is that I've got a lot of experience to draw on. I have a GPS enabled phone. I have a secondary GPS device, and I've got a couple of compasses. Because this is my passion and my hobby, when I sort of plan a trip, I spend a lot of time looking at maps and satellite imagery. And so for me, I'm pretty comfortable. I know how the technology works. I've got redundancies in that technology, so I pretty much navigate in real time. I know exactly where I am all the time. So for me, there's no fear of getting lost. The one thing I did have to get over though was the fear of camping alone, and that took a lot of years for me to be comfortable in doing it. So lots of hiking, lots of camping with friends, but never really felt comfortable in coming out here and doing this by myself. It wasn't until I started watching YouTube that I actually thought more closely about maybe I should get out here solo and start experience what it's like being out here completely by yourself. And the first time was tough, but once you get through the first night, it's been pretty easy ever since then. So yeah, a nice powerful headlamp is good. Helps you to sort of survey the landscape as any thing goes bang at night. But yeah, so thanks, Tom. It was a great question. And look, if you are sort of interested in camping and hiking, and you are worried about getting lost, then hone your skills. I think that's the biggest thing you can probably do. At least that's my opinion. I think if you can walk on well-known hiking trails, get used to carrying a backpack, get used to being out in the bush. That's gonna really pay off in terms of that confidence and the skill set that you build up by doing that. Damien Lamb, best way to build up stamina to get to those remote locations. Look, don't do what I do. I'm probably carrying a couple of extra kilos recently. I don't do a lot of exercise. I'm pretty busy. Normally I'd play ice hockey and come out here and do these sorts of adventures, and that's basically what I do. For me, the stamina is really a mental stamina, and don't get me wrong. The fitter you are, that'll help for sure, and you'll have a better time out here. You'll recover quicker. I'm pretty comfortable. I know what my limits are. I can carry a heavy backpack and I can just put one foot in front of the other and I can smash that out for a few hours at a time. So yeah, for me it's the mental edge, it's the stamina that comes from knowing that you can do it, and that putting your mind to it, you know that you can kind of push yourself to that point. But really important when you hit your sort of point, that you know when you've kind of hit your limit. And I had that before actually, like I was getting pretty tired and so I stopped, had a bite to eat, had some water, and for me that's kind of how I manage these situations. So next question's from Peter Whitechurch Outdoors. Will we see any snow trips this winter? Look, I hope so. I have actually recently just bought a backcountry tent, so a tent that can withstand high winds. And so my intention is to get out into the backcountry this year and do some snow camping. I really enjoyed it when I did it last year. I'd like to do it properly in the alpine environment, but this is new for me, and so I am a little bit nervous about doing that solo. So look, we'll see. I hope so. So from the Swagging Sisters, they've been followers of mine for a long time. So g'day, how you doing? Hope you're well. So glad to hear you back out again. Any snow likely on this trip? Well, it's probably going to get below zero or maybe close to zero, but I don't think there'll be any snow in it. This is pretty close to the coast, so it's unlikely that there would be the snow here. It has absolutely snowed in this location before. I think probably last year it did, but I don't think that's going to happen this trip. Next question, Ben's gone bush. What's the first thing you take off the list when you're packing and think, nah, too much weight? Look, Ben, I'm a bit of a shocker, to be honest. Most of my trips are single overnighters, and I know that I can carry a fairly heavy pack, and so with all of my camera gear, with all like the steaks and the beers, like my pack's not lightweight. So I generally don't worry about that. I have to say though, for me, on a trip like this, because I am working so hard, I normally spend most of the day walking, and then it's a real rush at the end to sort of set up camp and sort of do some filming before it gets dark. And so I more often than not get my hammock out, and more often than not it stays at home. And I love hammocks. I wish I had more time to spend laying in them, but that's probably the one bit of kit that I kind of turf out the bag on a semi-regular basis. On a longer trip, obviously, if I was out for 5 days, then the equation would be different, and I'd be counting my grams much more closely. Last question. This is from Mick Cole. What's the one location you'd love to hike in the future? I'd love to go check out Wallamai National Park, I think. Ever since I heard about the pine trees being discovered, I've kind of had this fascination about these little canyon and gorges that can sort of retain these remnants of these old rainforests. And yeah, so I think thinking it through, probably Wallamai National Park would be the one for me. I'd love to, like one day on the bucket list, I'd love to do some stuff in Scandinavia or Canada. That would be kind of like the epic kind of trip, just for something completely different. Yeah, locally, Wallamai National Park, and then Scandinavia and Canada for me. Look, that was fun. Thanks guys. That was really good questions. I haven't got too much longer in me. I'm really tired, so yeah, I'm just going to enjoy this warm fire for another 10 minutes or so, and then yeah, turn in for the night. Good morning everyone. It's a pretty chilly morning, it's just above zero, and I don't have a lot of warm clothes with me, so I've got my jacket on trying to keep some of that warmth in. Yeah, slept okay last night. It wasn't too bad. It's been pretty gentle night, hardly any breeze or wisp of air. So that's always nice when you're sleeping on top of cliffs. Oh, I can just see the sun is just poking above the ridge to the, what would that be, northeast. So I think it's time to wander down to the edge of the cliff and have some breakfast. And yeah, spend a few minutes just enjoying a coffee, staring into the gorge. So yeah, why don't you come along? Not a bad spot for breakfast if I do say so myself. The sun's just popped out. Oh, what a magical place this is. Absolutely incredible. It's hard not to get distracted in a place like this. Oh, unbelievable. It's just beautiful to see the sun come out and it hits the gorge wall. You just have all this variation in topography and the light kind of picks up little bits and highlights parts. Yeah. Such a beautiful place. Really does make all the effort worthwhile. Now I think there's one thing that can make this better, and that's a nice cup of coffee. I've got this really cool wax canvas pot pouch from Matt from Swagman Outfitters. So yeah, really nice bit of kit. Keeps all my cooking stuff organised. How about the serenity? Now I've got a new coffee filter to try out today. One of my subscribers, Duke I think it was, suggested I try the Soto Helix coffee maker. It's like a stainless steel, it's like an old egg cup I guess, but yeah, kind of compresses down flat. Doesn't weigh much. Oh, this one looks perfect. Oh, what a spot. Oh, straight away. Love this stove. Not a bad spot for a coffee. Not a bad spot at all. As much as I'd like to stay here all day, the day's already getting on, so I need to get some breakfast into me. So the old Uncle Toby's oats. Gonna have another coffee too. Oh, that's not exactly stable. Every time I use too much water in my bloody porridge. Every time. Alright, that's better. Unfortunately, it's time to pack up. It's actually 9 o'clock already, so I've got half an hour to get everything sorted and get walking. It's been an awesome morning, just exactly what I needed. So yeah, nothing for it but get stuck in and get everything sorted. Step 1 is to get everything out of the tent. Step 2 is trying to make some order of it. Alrighty, so almost packed up. I'm actually doing well. It's only 25 past 9, so happy with that. I've just taken some food out of my bag, so I've got it in my little hip pouches there. That way I can have a little trail bar on the go. I've got just under 2 litres of water. That probably would be enough to get me back to the car, but I might fill up along the way. We'll see how it goes. So I've also just taken out my water purification tabs, and again they're in the pocket here as well. Now the last thing I need to do is pack the camera away, but I also need to dismantle this fire pit, so I'll do that in a sec too. I'm just going to return them largely to where I found them. Okay, that's good to go. Alright, I've got geez, I reckon it's probably going to be somewhere between 10 and 12 kilometre hike to get back to the car. I think I can do it in about 5 hours. We'll see how we go. So I've made it into the bottom of the secret valley, and yeah, I tried to take a shortcut there's no shortcuts in the bush. There was another ramp that I saw that was closer to my camp, and so I took that one down, and it basically took me right down into a pretty deep part of this valley that I didn't want to be in. So I've just climbed back out of there, and now I think I'm at the entry point. So yeah, that cost me 15 minutes of energy I didn't need to use, but that's all right. I've got to go up this ramp. Just hope that's the right way. So I'm struggling to retrace my steps from yesterday. I'm about halfway up the other side of this little valley, and I think I found a way out, but yeah, these lines of rocks and cliffs, they've got lots of little crevices and ramps that kind of go halfway and then stop, and so you want to be really careful not to commit too early, lest you find yourself hanging from a rock somewhere. So this looks pretty good. I think I've got an option here, so I can keep going, but yeah, it's been a little bit harder than it was coming in yesterday. Yeah, it's really easy to take a wrong turn out here. So I've hit the final line of cliffs, and there's no obvious good way to get out of here, so I'm just going to have to spend a bit of time to see if I can find a safe way through. Oh, it's not ideal. I don't know where I came in yesterday. There's a little ramp here, I think I'll take it. I just had to climb through this, you can see where my bag is, climb through this little tunnel. Not the best thing to do with a heavy pack on, but this is the best way out I've found so far, and it should take me up pretty much to the top of the cliff, so I want to get out of here now. Just need to be really careful in these spots about loose rocks, and yeah, make sure you've got good holds and you're not hanging onto rocks that could move. This looks pretty safe though. I've been in worse. Happy days. That should be it, I think. Whew. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Oh, made it. Made it. Oh, so I camped on top of that little valley over there. Hurrah! I'm gonna stop, have a bite to eat, have some water, then I'm gonna put the camera away and get some kilometers done. Thought it'd be a good opportunity to clean up a little bit. Absolutely filthy. It's just gone 12 o'clock, so it's 2.5 hours of walking to get from camp to here. That's not too bad. I reckon it might take me another 2.5, 3 hours to get back to the car. But I've done the technical parts now, so the walking should be a little bit easier than it has been. I'm about 2 kilometres from the car, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. The time is 1 o'clock, so making good time. I should be back to the car before 2 o'clock now, which is excellent. Gives me time. It's about a 2-hour drive to get home, so yeah, that's good news. Look, I might leave the video here, guys. It's been an epic adventure, and I'm really glad I could share it with you. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop one of those below. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It really does help the channel out. And yeah, thanks very much for all your support. I've got to say, I really enjoyed all of your comments and your interactions on my luxury items video. It was really interesting to hear the gear that you guys consider to be luxury and the gear that you carry with you and think is pretty good. So yeah, really enjoyed that. Thanks again for all your support. We'll see you next time, guys. Cheers, bye.